to Giving Tuesday. Uh, St. Augustine High School has been involved in this day for a number of years. And what you just heard is the basketball siren because we're just outside my office. And but what I wanted to talk about is the general idea of giving on Giving Tuesday, which I think is a really beautiful way to celebrate Thanksgiving because we do have a lot to be thankful for. I would say that at St. Augustine High School, we would say that we're thankful every day of the year. One of the main projects that I've been laser focused on since 2018 is our endowment fund. In 2016, our endowment fund was $3,600,000. And we really hadn't done very much with that, with the endowment fund, because we were building buildings and we were really focused on that at that time. But when we got done with that in 2018, a majority of the construction was over, and we began looking at how does St. Augustine High School sustain itself for years and years and years going forward. And the logical conclusion of that conversation was we have to build an unbelievable robust endowment fund. So we began in earnest in July of 2018, and I'm really proud to say that we're well over $18 million right now in this fund. And you might be asking, well, what exactly is it? Well, it's a fund that actually protects the donor's money forever. It's a fund that once the money goes into the fund, it becomes the corpus of the fund. It never comes out. The only thing that comes out is the investment growth. And that growth is what fuels financial assistance. You can have endowment funds for all kinds of things. We're focused on financial assistance. We want to make sure that every boy in this county and this diocese that wants to be at St. Augustine High School, regardless of family history, family income, they can come to this school. So that $18 million is very soon going to go over $20 million. And at $20 million, what that means is the school will have an income stream of $1 million a year in perpetuity, forever. And we can only imagine if we keep raising $20 million each time we do that, what that means in the long-range future of the school. I think what it means is our tuition will not go up as fast as it currently is. If it's going up at 5%, maybe it's going up at 3.5%, 2.5%. So I talk to everybody that I can about this endowment because I think for any school who charges tuition, ultimately, when do you price yourself out of the marketplace? And we certainly don't want to do that. This education is too valuable. Now, in the endowment, there are a lot of different buckets. I think of them as buckets. And one of those buckets is an alumni scholarship. And today I have Tom Doyle here with me, who is the Alumni Association president. I'd like to welcome you, Tom.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this because this group has been raising money for this scholarship for years now, and I'm not sure how much is in that scholarship, but I know that you're helping about 4 boys, because at the golf tournament, I actually introduced 4 different kids, all from a different grade level, right, who have this scholarship, and maybe you could explain that scholarship in the basis of it.
Absolutely. So the Alumni Scholarship is set up for the son or grandson of a Saintsman who's attending Saints to get tuition assistance during their 4 years at Saints. We just started paying out again this last fall. So we have 4 students that started with us, freshmen all the way through senior. next year when the seniors graduating, we'll pick up a new freshman, and then we'll stick with them for their 4 years at the school. We're excited to be able to give back to the community because we all got so much from Saints, and we know how important it is to have a familial connection to the school. My brother went here before I did. My dad did so much work with the Alumni Association and the Augustinian board that he was able to get an honorary diploma from Saints. So family is a big thing to Saints. We want to be able to do whatever we can to help out Saintsmen that are sending their sons or grandsons to the school. So we're excited to have the 4 students currently, and we'll be able to welcome a new one next fall.
Right. So I've been waiting for the 4th generation of Saintsmen to finally arrive at our doorstep, and that actually happened this year with the Shaw family. The Shaw family, as there may be others out there, but I know the Shaw family is 4 generations now here at the school. And obviously they would qualify, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they would qualify. So tell me a little bit about the Alumni Association and how it works and who can belong and what you do.
Excellent. So the Alumni Association exists just to get guys connected with the school. We want any alum from a year out to 50 plus years out. We want them to have the ability to come back to an event at the school, come to a homecoming football game or any football game for that matter. Chat with your buddies who went to Saints with you, chat to younger guys, see what it was like for them compared to your experience, because we know that everyone's experience at Saints in a different era has a different memory, and you have different stories that you like to tell. So we want to put on events that help connect the alumni with the school and help connect the alumni with each other. Some of our bigger events that we're putting on now, we have a golf tournament every year in August. We're raising around $40,000 to $50,000 a year with that. Which
Tell me a little bit about that, because it's expanded, hasn't it?
It has.
Recently.
Yes, it has. So we went, I think 3 years ago, we went from having 144 golfers. Now we're up to 192 golfers. We're maxing out every time. We're very lucky to have alumni throughout the business sector who are more than happy to help us with sponsorships. So we're filling up all the sponsorships. And that's doing a lot to help us, because that is our main revenue generating event that we have for the association. So a lot of the money that we make at the golf tournament does end up going back towards the endowment.
And I think that's the only golf tournament that the school is focused on, right? I mean, there isn't another golf tournament. This is the golf tournament.
Yeah.
So if you want to play golf with these illustrious alums of St. Augustine High School, that's where you want to be. Well, where did you have it last year? Where was the golf tournament?
So last year we had it at Steel Canyon Golf Course. We opened up registration, I think, in February or March for an August tournament. We filled up about 75% before the school year even got out, and then we had the last couple of people trickling in over June and July before we filled up. So it's highly sought after. It's quite a deal in town for the amount of giveaways you get.
Exactly, and I want to say that they give us one foursome for the Taste of Saints, and it's the most expensive foursome you'll ever pay because it's the only one left. And if you really want to play, you're going to pay. So you probably want to get started in February.
Absolutely.
And get your foursome all set up. What does a foursome cost? Have you guys decided on the price of that?
We haven't yet, no.
Okay.
We have not yet, but it's affordable for a foursome, for the course that we're playing, for the amount of on-course experiences we have, for the meal afterwards.
It's a great dinner.
It's a great dinner. We have great prizes that we give away to the golfers. We feel it's a very affordable tournament, and I think the rate at which we sell out and the number of people still interested does show that we're pricing it accurately for what people are getting.
And you said it. I want you to say it again. How much did the Alumni Association put into their scholarship from that tournament?
So we raised around 40 or 45,000 last year, and we're hoping to put about 45,000 in this year as our gift to the endowment before the calendar year ends. Mainly because that will get us over the $200,000 mark, which will be able to increase the amount of aid that we can give to students that we're sponsoring with this scholarship.
Right. So that's just one little, I mean, it's a big thing, but it's only one small facet of what you do. The Alumni Association are also very much involved with admissions, and the way they're involved with admissions is the parochial basketball tournament, football tournament, soccer tournament. Yeah. But your basketball tournament is the big deal. Right?
Correct. The basketball is the main draw. Last year we had, I think, 58 teams in total, 36 varsity, 22 JV playing in the tournament. Back in the day with the old gym, it was a month's worth of games every night of the week. We had to have games at 6:30, 7:30, 8:30 at night. Now, luckily, with the big gym doing 2 courts at a time, we can do a couple weekends and a couple weeknights, and we get it all taken care of. But we like to consider it a miniature open house for the school, because so many prospective students are coming. All the different parochial schools are represented. Some of the other schools in the area that may not be parochial schools are playing in it now as well. We've reached out to teams that are down in Mexico to come up and play because they've been interested. So we have different schools representing 2 countries that are playing in the tournament. They all have a blast when they come up to Saint. So we're still working with the school to get more of an appearance from the school, just to have teachers, loyal sons, admissions people, whoever can be there that can answer questions for chunks during the day. We want to be able to show off how great Saints is when all these people are coming in and out of the gym for the tournament.
Yeah, and we have a very beautiful gym. So they get to see something that they probably have never seen before.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, because I talked to a lot of kids, that one of the reasons they chose Saints was that basketball tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They had such a good time and they wanted to play in the gym. They thought it was like, wow, if you go here, you get to play there.
Yeah, the gym at Saints has always been a way to lure kids in. I remember when I was at School de Madeline back in the day, it was playing in the old gym was the highlight of my time playing at Madeline, and the Saints tournament championship game, and we played St. Pius and filled the gym up, and it was wild. And then now, you watch these kids play here, and for having the amount of bleachers out that we have, they're still drawing a good crowd for these games, and the parents love to come out and see it. The guys that are in the association who work it love being out there working it. They love getting to support the kids on these different teams playing in the games, just because we want to showcase Saints. We want them to have a good time.
Well,
we want them to want to come here.
Very appreciative of all you do, especially admissions. It's such an important part of the school. And I promise I'll come and help you next year and
Perfect.
talk to some of those.
We need someone to help with popcorn.
Okay, I'm good on popcorn. I burn it every time.
Perfect.
Okay.
The kids will still eat it.
All right, perfect. Now, I know that there's some new programs that you've started that are kind of connecting business people together that are alums. And you've had maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 activities for these people. What exactly are you doing there?
Yeah, so we started up a networking program. It's still in its grassroots, where we've had 3 or 4 of them at this point. We're still trying to find the right lane we want to be in for what type of participation and how people get involved and can contribute. But we're keeping it real simple. We're hosting them on campus in the theater. We're inviting a speaker who's in some major sector, whether it's law. We've had a policeman speak. We've had coaches from Saints come and speak. We want to have someone who can provide an insight to what their industry is like, what their time at Saints was like, going through college, how that impacted how they got into the career they're in, and what their industry has been like as they've developed their career. Whether it's someone who's 3 or 4 years into a career, whatever it may be, or someone who's 30 or 40 years into the career. We know that Saintsmen want to hear from other Saintsmen what their experiences were like, to know that they have someone they can rely on if they have questions and seek advice from. And so far, every person we've had speak has been a great speaker who's been engaging with the people that are there, and they've learned a lot. They've gotten to make some good connections, and that's kind of what we want to do. We want to make sure that the alumni coming out get to meet other alumni, and if you can make a business connection somehow with someone you meet, that's great. If you just get to come back to Saints for a night, see some buddies, meet some new friends that you didn't know from Saints, then that night was a success for us also.
Yeah, I would think with the type of graduate that is graduating from Saints, to be able to kind of rub shoulders with those people that you can probably trust in business, kind of makes a lot of sense from my perspective as the president of the school. Also, Tom Goodall, 3 or 4 times a year, we'll have 2 alums come in and talk to the junior class about what they do professionally. So the alums are really involved at St. Augustine High School, and it's really kind of thrilling. Is there anything that you would like to just put out there? I know you're always looking for more volunteers. Maybe a pitch for volunteers.
Yeah, I mean, we want anyone who's an alum who wants to participate and come and hang out and have a good time with us. We'd love to have everyone come and join us. None of it's hard work. Even the golf tournament, you know, it's a long day, but you're hanging out with guys that you have a shared connection with Saints. The golf course is great to work with, so they do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So we're there making sure people are having a good time and playing. Yeah, any alum who's remotely interested in giving back and helping out, we'd love to have them join us. It's a good time hanging out with your brothers from Saints, whether it's the parochial basketball tournament, scoring a game, or doing the book. We have the parochial football tournament where we'll have a couple guys work the scoreboard, other people working concessions, making burgers and dogs for the kids. So there's a million things that we do, and none of them are hard. They're all a good, fun way to hang out with.
Well, I came to one. Yeah, you had a football barbecue to kick off the football season, and I was at that one, and it was great.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of guys I haven't seen in a long time that just kind of wandered by. Well, that's fantastic. I just want to do a shout out for the alums who support this school. If you're so inclined, and I hope you are, go to our website, go to giving, and you will see a place to give to the Alumni Scholarship. And that money will go into that bucket I was talking about before. It'll go right into that bucket, and you'll make it bigger, more powerful, and more alumni sons will be able to take advantage of really the best education in Southern California. Thanks, Tom, for being with me.
Thank
really
you for having
appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
And yeah, go Saints.
Go Saints.
Well, we're back with a very close personal friend of mine, Patty Bribiesca, who is a certified financial planner in her real life job.
I am.
And she's on our board, and I could go on kind of on and on, but I want to start at the beginning of the story and kind of, Patty, if we could just kind of talk about when you first heard about St. Augustine High School, like what was the circumstances of that?
So my connection with the school started with my nephews, who are now alums of the class of 2019 and 2015. So I should start it the other way. But so we're a very close family, and it was very natural for me to come to the school and attend their football and rugby games. And I was really impressed with the academics. I was impressed with the variety of extracurricular activities that went on in the school.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I was most impressed with the outcome. I mean, the boys were becoming these confident, compassionate young men. I mean, and those are the kind of leaders that we want in our community. So I was just really impressed with the outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm very impressed with your nephews as well. I got to know them very well. And I think it's important to kind of note a few things here early on, because our relationship kind of grew, kind of ground up in an organic kind of way, because you were part of the clan, so to speak.
I was.
And I met Gabby and Marty Rascone, whose two boys, Charlie and Martin, are graduates of the school. But I met them on the football field after a Division I championship game in which we won. And it was a strange game, because it was a game we probably shouldn't have won, but we won because of the discipline of the school, the discipline of the players, guys rallying. We had a lot of guys injured. And there was a player that I didn't really know who played in that entire game on defense. And So the game ends, we win, everyone's running around crazy, and I notice a family out on the football field, and I went down. Now, I'm a former football coach, so winning a championship like this is a big deal. And I see this young man and his family, and they're just kind of there, like enjoying the moment of this championship. And so I asked Marty, who was the player, I asked him, and Marty's not that big, he's kind of small. And I asked him, what position did he play? And I expected him to say defensive back. And he said, I played linebacker. And we just played a CIF championship game. And this guy who, didn't start a lot of games, but he started this game. He played all the way through this game. And we won a CIF championship. And it just kind of taught me, you learn things all the time, but what I learned that night is don't discount anyone because of their size, because it's really the size of one's heart that's way more important. And I got to meet, because I went down there that night, a very special family, and a family that I've become very, very close to. And in the aftermath of meeting them, I got to meet you and Art, of course, and Patty's husband, who is a sensational guy. And then I found out that Patty was doing financial planning.
Yeah.
And I knew that was something that we were woefully pathetic at, and we needed some help. And because I know that right now, in our history of our school, it's going to be wills and trusts that propel us forward in developing our foundation. Even though I ask anyone who will stand in front of me long enough to make a contribution to the school, it's usually in those larger moments when someone passes that big surprises happen. And I just want to take a second, Patty, before we launch into kind of how you do this stuff. We just received this last year, about a year ago actually, the largest single gift we've ever received from a trust, from a saintsman by the name of Andy Gillespie, class of 61. And he was a pharmacist, lived a simple life, and he gave half of his estate to the University of Arizona and half of his estate to Saints, the two schools that really, made him and created a wonderful life for himself. He lived. I want to say about him, he lived a simple life. Save on drugstore, nothing spectacular, but when he died, he created really a legacy for his family that will live and live and live for a long, long time by his gift. Now, what's interesting about this gift is he was worried about our debt, and so he wanted us to pay down our debt. And of course, if we do that, it would eventually cause us to pay penalties on our loan. So we couldn't do that. So we had to kind of do it a different way than he thought. But we're actually using his gift to pay down our debt, but the school is then reimbursing the endowment with a likewise sum of money in the payment. So our endowment has grown from $4.5 million in 6 years to just nearly 18 million. The market's up and down, of course, so sometimes it's over 18 million, sometimes it's less than. But that's where you come in, Patty. So you're a relatively new board member.
I am.
So maybe talk about I know you are a thinker and a prayerful person. And when we asked you to join our board, it took you a while.
It did. It did simply because I wanted to be sure that I gave the school enough of my time. And just a little history, I was there at that football game as well. It was a great night, a wonderful celebration for the entire family.
Hmm.
We've always told little Marty, you can do big things. And I think the school showed him that as well. So thank you for
Hmm.
that.
And he's also in financial
He
planning,
is also in financial planning. So
taking after his
he
aunt.
is. He's following my footsteps, which is incredible. I'm so proud of both boys.
Yeah.
Um, but you mentioned meeting the incredible family that night. So during Charlie's time here at school, we had a family tragedy, and my brother-in-law passed away, Marty. So the school stepped up in incredible ways, more than I would have ever imagined. They provided deep emotional support for the boys and for our family. I mean, eternally grateful for everything the school did for us at that time. And I really realized that at that moment that the school isn't just about the academic excellence, it's also about the emotional well-being of the boys. I mean, that is a big part of who they become.
Hmm.
So, and it's a big focus here in the school. So joining the board, I mean, I wanted to say yes immediately. It was a decision that I should not have even thought about, but I just wanted to make sure that I could contribute and give you the time that it deserved. I want to be able to help other families
Hmm.
have the same support that we did.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I think, like when you think about the emotion of everything that transpired during those years, and how Marty Jr. stepped up with the food service, and Charlie, they run our food service here at the school. Uh, Marty was really the glue, the catalyst of holding his family together with Gabby, and then all of a sudden Gabby is and Marty Jr. is it's like right there. They have to step up, and they did, and it's been a beautiful, really beautiful thing to watch. And it's actually even made me closer to all of you
no, it's
because of
beautiful.
it. Yeah, I think tragedy does that to us a little bit, but
Yeah.
it binds us together. And so anyway, we have, I think we would both agree, a very special place, this school, in what it does for young men. And we know that young men are in trouble in our
Mhm.
society, and yet they're happy and they're healthy here at St. Augustine High School. So how do we support that? How do we go about in our daily lives, kind of thinking about more than maybe just our families? Uh, and that's where we get into values.
Right.
And I know you, in particular, in your job, you pay attention to values and families and their
Mhm.
values, and get them to maybe figure out what those are. How do you do that?
So we do. So, there's great wealth being created, and there's going to be an enormous amount of wealth that's going to be passed down to the next generation. So, one of the things that we do in our practice is incorporate philanthropy in all financial plans, because there is room for charitable giving, there is room for philanthropy, and we don't always need to leave everything to our children. I think that's one of the things. I mean, the best gift we can give them is actually our philanthropic values. So we do have wonderful ways of uniting families with these. And as a board member, as I'm seeing, one of the biggest challenges is fundraising to keep tuition costs down. And I think that's really not a sustainable method.
Hmm.
So we do talk about endowments, we talk about planned giving, and with those gifts, I mean, they're simple, but they're so impactful.
Hmm.
I mean, it just a legacy gift really keeps your values going, traditions passed on to the next generation, and the causes that you care about are supported in perpetuity.
So we're getting real close to $20 million in our
I
endowment,
love that.
and at
Congrats.
5%, that's $1 million of income coming into the school in
Mhm.
perpetuity. And so every $20 million represents $1 million that is going to impact this school and how it creates its finances. And I've got to believe that in the long run, if we do this well, the growth curve of tuition will flatten and it will not go up as fast. And we will be sustainable
Correct.
if we do this. And of course, I look out there at Catholic education in the kind of the macro world, and so few schools are doing this. And they just think that they can keep, pushing higher and higher tuition out there, and eventually,
No, it's not sustainable, and our community needs this. And I think what we're not having these conversations enough is another thing. We're not talking about, building that endowment and the planned giving. We're not talking about what that legacy gift means to saints. I mean, keeping tuition at a steady rate, like you're talking about, the scholarships for children that can't afford to come to the school. I mean, giving that opportunity to someone else. I mean, the opportunities that our family had is just something that is deserving of others. And then, of course, the stability of the school. Having that legacy gift does provide the financial strength that we need to continue.
mhm. So when you sit down, do you actually sit down with families
We do.
and have this conversation?
We do. We actually bring in a facilitator, and the facilitator, because it's hard to talk to your children about money, and some parents and families don't want to really release that much information. But so we'll bring in a facilitator. We have everyone go around and talk about their values and what's important to them. And then, of course, mom and dad or patriarch of the family will talk about what's most important to them and what they hope their children will continue. Don't want to talk products, of course, but there's, vehicles that you can use to ensure that the legacy given continues.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm always amazed at, even without those conversations, the amount of legacy gifts we get at the school. Because I think for a lot of alums, when they finally reflect back on their success in life, a lot of it comes right from this school. It's codified and stratified here, and creates a mature person leaving the school. So St. Augustine High School survives because of the generosity of others, and this is another way in which you can give kind of the ultimate gift when you pass.
Absolutely. I think it's just a conversation that we need to be having. Again, building that endowment, it talks about that. And it's important if we're going to keep tuition sustainable and continue to produce young men that are just going to be great leaders in our community.
Well, thank you, Patty, for being here
Thank
with
you.
us. I really appreciate you being on the board and what you're going to be bringing to the board. I've already taken some of your ideas in my parent pledge talks about talking about the endowment and not being sustainable without it, and that we really have to pay attention. And I will tell you, I don't know yet what the bottom line will be on that with parents, but it is resonating very, very strongly. They understand, the parents understand what is going to be necessary once they hear, oh, there is a solution to this problem. But we actually have to pay attention to it.
We do.
Yeah. So I really appreciate it. I
Thank
know
you
you're
so
very,
much.
very busy, and to be here with us, and thank you.
Thank you so much.